Another episode for Flash Picks. We have a little different style today. We have a first ever special guest on the show. You could read his name. You can see him right there. I'm your host, Matty Chucks, with our co-host, Austin's Props. And our special guest of the day is Jordan Yamamoto, former Major League Baseball player, former starting pitcher for the Miami Marlins and the New York Mets. He did tie the Marlins record for most innings pitched in a Major League debut, set the Marlins record for most consecutive scoreless innings to begin a career in Marlins history, and was the first pitcher in Marlins history to win their first 3 consecutive games. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm good, just living life here in Florida, living the retirement life.
That's awesome. That was, props to me on the intro. Those are some sick numbers to say that you have and that you've done in your career. You are in Florida now. Are you close to Miami? Are you still around the Marlins organization?
So the house I live in, actually, I bought it back when I was with the Marlins because it was right across the street of the spring training complex. Is an hour away from Miami, so I was able to commute every single day. So it made it easy, to live at home, sleep in my own bed. So it just made it easy. So I've been out here. My wife's family is all out here. So it kind of makes it an easy adjustment when I decide to stop.
Gotcha. And you're from Hawaii.
Yep.
Is your family still all the way over there? Are they over here?
Everybody except for maybe a cousin and a grandparents up in the mainland. But other than that, everybody else is back home in Hawaii.
Wow.
So a little journey ways away.
Yeah. How long of a flight is that?
We just went for my daughter's first birthday. It was probably 14-hour flight day. So 6 to the West Coast, 2-hour layover, and then another 6 to Hawaii.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. So Florida, is that where you plan on trying to settle down?
Yeah, I just think for future of my daughter and her having better opportunity out here in terms of sports, in terms of everything she wants to do, there's kind of more people out here to, I guess, see her in different avenues of life, whether it be sports or other stuff.
Yeah. And the weather's always great, so you can't complain. I'm sure it's great in Hawaii too.
Yeah,
but
it's about the same. It's about the same. Just difference in seasons. Summer being here, always rainy. In Hawaii, and in the wintertime, it's always rainy. But other than that, it's pretty the same. It's pretty much the same.
So how much did you hate playing for the New York Mets then? Because I'm in New Jersey. It's cold. It gets cold.
Oh, fun fact: my wife's family's all from Jersey, so they're all from Brick.
Okay.
Oh, that's a little
Brick,
south.
So yeah, so they're all from that area.
I will say she must be a fantastic wife, fantastic human being.
Oh, she grew up a Yankees fan, so that's kind of hard.
I take back everything I said.
So that's kind of hard. Her family grew up a Yankees fan. I grew up a Red Sox fan, so can't really do anything about that. But it's definitely fun.
How'd you guys get along?
My whole thing is I don't really have a favorite team anymore. It was more about who paid my bills, So that was kind of where I took it. Everybody asks, who's your favorite team? Like, who do you want to play for? I'm like, whoever pays me. That's the bottom line, and that's what baseball is coming to, is whoever can pay.
Well, now that you're retired, right? Are you gonna pick a team? Are you gonna just float around? What's the plan?
Float around. I've been through 4 different organizations. I'm not here. I see the ups and downs of every organization. I see the goods and the bads. So it's kind of one of those things that you can never just have a set team. I can never sit here after 9 years of playing, almost 10 years, and say that I have a set team that I like. Because there's always those players on every team that you like to watch more than other teams. So
that's true. Has it set in yet that you've retired? Are you adjusting? What's going on?
Adjusting is the hard part, But at the same time, it's the same as off season. I get to be at home every single day. I get to wake up to my daughter, be at home, and just enjoy life, So it's not that hard of an adjustment. It hit me, but it hasn't hit me. So still kind of up in the air and still seeing baseball and kind of wishing I was there, but at the same time not wishing I was there. The grind of the minor leagues, the grind of the big leagues, it's definitely something that it takes a special person to go through for years and years of their life.
Yeah, especially when you have kids and stuff too. I think now that you have your daughter, wishing you guys the best and all the health too. It just must be tough when you're on those long road trips just away and just.
Yeah. And that was kind of one of the main few reasons why, I decided to walk away, is because last year I seen it for 10 days in a matter of 4 month span. So missing first words,
Yeah.
missing her walking during spring training was the first time she took her first step. So missing all that, it's definitely kind of over time, those little things add up and you just kind of see what matters more in life to you over what you're currently doing.
Yeah. We're gonna ask you some baseball questions now. Austin, do you have a baseball question for him?
Yeah, I just had one, and then we'll get into it. So, are you? I know you're retired recently. Are you still throwing? Do you plan on still throwing? Like, you're done. You're
I'm
calling it.
done. Nah, I'm
Okay.
done.
So
I just got a call
there's
from
no
my
maybe.
agent. No, I just got a call from my agent maybe like 3 days ago, probably. Mexico wanted to sign me. He had good opportunities in Japan. But I just said, you know what? I'm done. I woke
Yeah.
up the other day. I was like, my arm kind of hurts today. And then I remember I don't have to throw a baseball today. So I'm like, I'm good.
Right.
Let's go about my day, because it's one of those things that once I retired, I was like, you know what? My body has taken a total over years and years of playing, my arm, my body. So I was like, it's time to just rest and relax.
Definitely.
Listen,
Well deserved, man. I
I
mean,
do that every day, and I can vouch that it is a very good
yeah,
life.
that's what you and I live, Maddie. So,
It's a very good life. So you did pitch a little bit in spring training. You've seen some of the new rules. You are the perfect person to ask because everyone asks us. Everyone's asking around. How do you think these new rules in the major leagues? How do you think the pitchers are going to adjust? Do you think anyone has an advantage, or what do you think is going to happen?
I mean, there's definitely its pros and cons, but I mean, going to big games, like if you look at the WBC last night, the championship game, they had a post out there about that every single pitch from Shohei to Trout was it would have violated the pitch clock.
Yeah,
So
I saw that.
seeing in those situations, it doesn't help anybody. It ruins the game to me personally.
me
Like
too.
you see, because we're always taught as baseball players, as pitchers, that we control the timing of the game, the tempo of the game. But now that we don't, so it's they have its pros. Like if you look at Scherzer has been around the game for a very long time, and he adapts very well to changes, and he took it in his repertoire to, I guess, take it to his advantage to be able to pitch with the pitch clock and kind of screw guys up on the hitting
Yeah.
end. Holding for 15 seconds before he pitches, or making them use their time, their one and only time, and then now they have to sit in there for another 15 seconds ready to go because he can quick pitch at any time. Hitters, like you sit there and you're facing 100 miles an hour. Yeah, it's already hard enough, and now you're making them go, okay, I cannot take a break to kind of release my mind and release the stress. I cannot breathe because I have to get back in the box in 7 seconds. Like, it's taking the game of baseball and changing it. I guess. I mean, I get it on the other side, on the flip end, for viewers, because baseball can be boring, but baseball is boring to the people who don't understand it.
Yeah. I'm on the same way as you. Like, I'm a very big baseball fan. I like long games. I like, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 2 outs. I don't care if the at bat takes 30 minutes because it's a mind game and I'm on my seat. But to the average fan who just like, oh, I just want to see balls go flying and
Yeah,
whatever, I understand why they did it, but I think it ruins the uniqueness of baseball from a diehard fan. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
There's too many rules being implemented into baseball that's taken away from the human era of the
Yeah.
game. From they're talking about robo umps, and all these different things that, at the end of the day, like that's what makes baseball beautiful, is having the human error and people getting upset about it, or people being happy about it, or things like that make baseball fun. It's one of those things that, I mean, I've seen the pitch clock for years now. It's been in the minor leagues. It was kind of a thing back when I made my debut, but it wasn't as enforced.
Yeah.
But it's definitely kind of taken away from baseball already being hard and making it harder for guys.
Do you think it has more advantage hitter, like situationally, the way I look at it, and you can tell me if I'm flat out wrong because I'm just guessing. I've never been there. I feel like when there's nobody on base, it's advantage pitcher, but if there's a guy on base, the hitter's got the advantage. Now you're worried about the clock and the guy if he's a threat to steal at least second base.
Yeah. On top of that, you have only 3 pickoff moves. If you don't pick them off on the third time, they're automatically awarded to second base. So it's kind
Yeah.
of it's It's one of those things. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to think about, but at the same time, it's still hard to hit. It's still hard to face
I
Shohei
can't do it.
Ohtani. Like, it is what it is.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter how much advantage a hitter has, it's still going to be harder. Now that it's helping that they're going to a pitch com where you don't have to worry about signs at all, sign stealing. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's in your ear. They tell you to pitch, you can shake off or you can throw it. So it's like that kind of takes the thinking and the numbers out, along with like, okay, we got to strategize on how to use signs. And if the guy at second base with the pitch clock, now we can't even shake off because the pitch clock is at 2 seconds already, So
Yeah.
it's the pitch clock has helped a lot on that side of the game. But in reality, the pitch clock for pitchers, unless you're a pitcher who consistently takes his time, it's not really going to mess with you. I mean, consider if you look at a lot of pitchers, they'll get the ball, get back on the mound, get their sign, throw. It's maybe 5 seconds in between each pitch, 6 seconds in between each pitch. So in reality, it doesn't really mess with the hitters. But now that there's a pitch clock there, it's forcing guys to think about it. It's forcing guys to, even if you already work fast, you're working faster now because of the pitch clock.
Yeah.
So it's just give and take. There's its pros and cons to both sides.
I think the human error, I think, who was the pitcher years ago? It might be more than a decade ago. He was throwing a perfect game, and there's a ground ball hit to like second base, and they called him safe at first, and he was out.
First base. It was a first base, yeah.
And it was
he called him safe.
And it was out, and it ruined his perfect game. And like nowadays, that would have just been instant replayed, and he would have been awarded it was a perfect game or no hitter. I don't know which one it was.
Yeah, it was a perfect game, I believe, yeah.
And it's just like, to me, that sucks, but that's also the beauty of the game. And just like, you don't know how many times that could have happened before we could see it on, TV or whatever, that it could have been the case.
That side of it where human error, so like umpiring is different than a game like that where you have a potential to put that on your resume that you had a perfect game in your career, and now that gets taken away by a blatant missed call. Right. So the human error there is not just a human error that's ruining things, like that's ruining a perfect game, for example.
It's tough to find a line.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're telling me like, oh, an umpire is missing by a few inches, like, okay, he's going to give it back to you. But if there's an ABS, like they're going to be able to tell you exactly what it is. And it's like, you're not going to get away with the catchers being so good at framing nowadays that they're not going to steal those strikes that you need in those counts that you need to get strikes in, So yeah. It's definitely its pros and cons, but I just think that taking away the human error of the game is definitely ruining baseball. Some people love it, some people don't, but at the end of the day, home runs sell, no hitters don't,
That's a good point.
Yeah. So what do you think, because for me, I've seen it a few times for spring training, especially. There was a few games where like guys lost because they weren't ready with the 15 seconds. And like I don't know how they would be able to manage it, but I feel like they should implement something in the ninth inning where that doesn't happen. Because like if you watch a full game and the last out is because of something like that sucks. That ruins the purity of the game. You know what I mean?
People are gonna start losing. I think so. I was talking with Alex Garcia about this. Is that the owners are actually going to start to realize that they're going to start losing viewership. They're going to start losing TV money because people aren't going to watch it anymore, or they're going to start losing money at games when games are now 2 hours long versus being 3.5 hours long, and their sales on beer, on food, on everything is going down at stadiums, because people they're cutting off beer in the seventh inning, and that's only an hour into the game versus a normal game being 2.5 hours into the game.
That's a great angle. Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
It's one of those that it sounds nice to make a game move by, but at the same time, we're also talking about it like what's going to happen when you say at Dodger Stadium, you have the games that are going to be 2 hours long, maybe 2 hour 15, maximum 2.5 hours. Game starts at 6 o'clock. People are going to be able to go and eat dinner. So are they really going to spend $50 on a meal at Dodger Stadium knowing they're going to be there till 10 o'clock? Or now it's going to be like, I'm going to spend no money over there, and after the game, head out to a restaurant and be at the restaurant by 9:30. It's kind of one of those things. Am I going to spend $50 to get a hot dog or $50 to get a full meal? So
that's a good point. And also like day games too. If it's a 1 o'clock game, I'll eat at 12. No, I'll be out of there by 3.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things that I don't know. Like we look at it as a lot of the baseball players get I don't know if you guys know what the revenue sharing. So whatever the revenue is that's brought in, they get to make contracts off of that and pay players. But now if they're not getting that, now the players are suffering because the team is making less. So the owners still got to line their pockets and make their money with the business side of baseball. But now are they going to take a hit and spend money that they don't have? It's kind of one of those battles that has been fought for years and years of pay of players and minor leagues and all of that stuff.
Yeah. And that's why the no salary cap in baseball is huge, because if you have revenue share, you're going to want to play for those big market teams and not for teams that don't sell their stadium or just. And
we are the only major force sport that doesn't have a salary cap. Yeah, and that's good. A lot of the other sports have it, and now you have to see, like, say, basketball. LeBron has to take a pay cut to have another player on his team, but you really think some guys in baseball are going to want to do that? I mean, it's definitely going to be hard knowing their worth, knowing how much millions of dollars they're worth. No one wants to take a millions of dollars pay cut because they can have someone else on their team, It's hard. It's a hard line to walk because you want to be that good teammate, but at the same time, it's like, this is your livelihood. This is what you worked your whole life for. And if you're going to tell me you're going to short me money because you got to pay someone else, that's going to be a hard one to sell.
Yeah, I completely agree. Who do you still have a lot of, I'm assuming you still have a lot of friends in the big leagues that you talk to. What's the general consensus from people? Are they pro these rules? You don't have to name any names, but if you,
in terms of like the game rules?
Yeah, like the game rules and everything that we just talked about.
So the consensus is that it is what it is. It's going to be there. Yeah. No one can take it away. No one can bring in more, at least this year. They can bring in more starting next year, but it is what it is. No one can do anything about it. So what's the point in dwelling on it? Not everybody likes it. Not everybody hates it. But at the same time, it is what it is.
All these baseball players are so mature. I don't know what's going on.
It's crazy because, we can't get away from it. As much as you have those veterans who have been used to the game back in the day where there was no such thing as a pitch clock. There was no such thing as balls and strikes, like automatic ABS. There was no such thing as instant replays. So you have those guys mixed with the newer generation of kids that they just go, you know what? I got to keep up with the times and I still got to perform, and that's kind of what this world comes down to is you get paid if you perform. If you don't perform, you're out of there.
That's the cold, hard truth.
Yeah, and that's the business side of baseball, and that's where over the years, it kind of slowly crept up on me that, it is what it is at this point. So
it has its pros and cons, like you said. It's a give and take. Going back to you pitching last year and a couple years before, rumors were that the MLB was doing dead balls, juice balls. Can you talk about any of that?
Different.
Every ball is different?
Every ball was different. There's been so many talks about it. 19, the balls were juiced. If you look at it, there was I think it was Verlander that gave up more home runs, I think, in 19 than he did like the previous 5 years combined. For a guy like that who's a future Hall of Famer, it's definitely hard to say that the balls weren't juiced. Granted, swing paths changed, approach hitting changed, and all they wanted was home runs. Strikeouts skyrocketed. But in the same breath, like, you can talk to 95% of pitchers will say that they'll get a ball from the umpire, throw it into the dugout, grab another one, and the seams are different. The ball's run differently. The leather is different. It's rubbed up differently. And that's where stick came about, was because if we're getting different balls every single pitch or every single time we throw a baseball, and if it gets fouled off, if it hits the ground, even if it gets a little ground ball to the infield, you're switching balls, it's a whole different ball. Yeah. And you don't have any grip. Say, for me, playing in Miami, we're sweating all the time. And now you're getting balls that were rubbed up 3 hours prior. And when you sweat on the ball, it turns into mud. It's like, okay, you have guys like Sandy who throws 100. Would you rather, in baseball terms and to baseball guys, would you rather have a guy throwing 100 that doesn't know where it's going?
Yeah.
Or has a clue? Granted, stuff's going to be a little bit better, but it's still it's not going to be at your head 24/7.
Yeah, it's going to be harder to hit, but you're not going to get it to the neck.
You're not fearing for your life. And that's what it comes down to. Like last year was the most hit by pitches, I think, in the last how many years.
The Mets definitely got hit by
the Mets, especially.
Mark Canha, man.
And it goes to show, like, people don't have grip of the ball. When they're cracking down on substance, whether because with like that's a slippery slope because you can take just rosin and sweat and make it super sticky where the ball sticks to your hand, but the umpires can't tell if that's real sticky or just rosin, you know. So you have to
Yeah.
be kind of careful on what you use. So
I think my favorite part of that is when the umpires would check the pitchers, and it would almost become like a bit when some guys would just like throw their stuff on the ground, like pull their pants down. Like
yeah,
that was
because
becoming a good part of baseball for me because I liked watching it.
because it's too much. Like the umpire, like there was I think the game last year where they checked Scherzer mid inning. You know, like
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
what is the point in that? Like this guy's just to get him off his rhythm. You know, like you're pissing him off now, and he's already Scherzer, he's already Mad Max. You piss a guy off like that, and he's only going to come back harder. Like it
Yeah,
is.
I
what it
will
is.
say you shared a locker room with him. Is he a pretty revved up guy all the time?
He's actually very laid back, surprisingly. You know, except for his start days. His
Okay.
start days were oof. You don't talk to the guy. He does his thing. Once he puts his headphones on, do not go near him. Do not talk to him. You know, it's his day, and everybody knows that he's locked in. So it's kind of one like other than that, he'll come and play cards. He'll do all those different things with the guys, and then once it's his start day, he kind of shuts it down and he gets locked in for his game.
Gotcha. Who had the weirdest like pre-game rituals, if you can say?
Pre-game rituals?
I know some guys like only eat certain things. Some guys like.
I mean, I don't really know too many guys like that. But I have heard stories about some of the guys where they have to take like a certain amount of like a certain time frame of naps before the game that they have to do so that they perform. There's everybody's superstition, everybody's routine that's different, you know, but you'll see it often where like you have say for example, when I was with the Marlins, we had the chefs that were there, and I would walk in on game days and he would know exactly what I want to eat for that day.
Gotcha.
You know,
See?
he knew exactly what to make me for that day. And that's how
What
a lot
was
of
it?
guys are, you know.
Yeah.
Mine
What
was
what
just
do you have?
eggs on top of rice.
There you go.
Just simple eggs on rice, and it's kind of like guys will have big plates of nachos before every night before they go out. So everybody has their routine. Everybody knows what works for them, you know. And
I think
you
eggs over rice is the better option than
oh
the
yeah, I mean he
nachos.
made like these different sauces that were all mixed in. I was like, this is heaven right here. Let's
even
go.
on night games, you had eggs over rice.
Oh yeah, I can eat breakfast for dinner every night. That's rice with every meal. My wife doesn't like it because that's just how we can go to McDonald's in Hawaii and get eggs, rice, and sausage. Yeah, it's crazy.
We should have that over here.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys don't, but yeah, so like Hawaii has all that, so we have rice with everything.
It sounds like someone's moving back to Hawaii soon, if you ask me.
No. As much as I want to, as much as my family's out there and I miss them, I just think for my daughter and her future, it's better to be staying in Florida.
Okay, and then I know you've said, you know, what is next. Do you have a general idea of what is next? Do you have a couple feelers out there for you?
Just get it. I mean, I'm still coaching. I mean, that's going to be a guaranteed. You know, is coaching is sharing knowledge with the younger generation that I wish I had when I was younger. You know, whether it be to players, whether it be to their parents on draft process, on professional side, you know, on all these different things that helped me get to the big leagues. If I could share with them and shorten that learning curve, and help them get to where I was, you know, to me that's what fills the hole or the void that I guess I had for so long.
Yeah. No, I think that, and you dedicated, you know, your most of your life to playing this sport. You're not just gonna drop it cold turkey. You're gonna give back and be as much of a part of it as you can. At
Yeah,
least
I
that's what I
mean,
would do.
so right now I'm coaching a 13U team. I think we start with two more teams. Me and my friend from out here in Florida, we start like two more teams in the summertime. But it's fun, you know. You get to see the love of the game come back out again because in today's day and age, baseball has become a job. Baseball is for a lot of people, you know. It's not. I play it for fun anymore, you know. I play it because it pays the bills. I play it because I can make money doing it, and I'm good at it.
Yeah.
But when it makes it easier when you have those big contracts. But for the guys who are trying to scrape by, you know, up and down bubble guys, 4A guys, all these guys who are trying to scrape by, it's a job. You know, guys who are in the minor leagues for 12 years because they're making $100,000 in the minor leagues
Yeah.
for a 6-month span. You know, it's hard to walk away from that.
I agree 100%. The grind. I think one thing baseball should do is change. Like minor leaguers should get paid more. Like I know it's tough to give them money. Like it's just like I knew a guy who went to my high school. He was in AAA till he was like 28, 29, and he was just couldn't get over the hump that's so hard to do.
Yeah.
And it's just as taxing of a schedule, if not harder.
Yeah. So I mean, this fight of the minor league getting paid more has been going on for a long time. Back when I first started playing, if you said anything about a minor league union, you were probably released in the next week. You know, that was how it was. The saying back in the day was, you don't like it, play better.
Yeah.
Because if you want to get to the big leagues, play better. And that was kind of the saying. But now it's like, I seen it starting to happen last year where guys were like, oh, the union's coming, this and that. I'm like, but you guys got to realize everything comes with a price. You know, like as much as you guys want to up the pay, guess what? Half your guys' jobs are gonna be gone. If you want to be paid $50,000 a year, half your jobs are gonna be gone.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. Is owners aren't gonna take the cut of their pocket for players. It ain't gonna happen. You know, there's a reason why they invest in teams like this is because if they bought it for say $500 million, it's worth $1.6 billion now.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to take a pay cut in situations like that because it's like, why am I going to pay these guys when I can just sign other guys who don't really care? Because there's guys who want to be in their position, and will take way less money for it, you know,
and won't threaten a union.
Yeah, and won't threaten with the union, you know. So it's kind of like you guys are walking a fine line here, of which I support. Like I think that it is good that they're doing that.
Yeah,
but I don't think they look at the side of it that's going to take away from them.
Yeah.
You know, if you're the guy where you're always on the back burner or you're, as they call, the filler of the team, most likely you're not going to be on the team the following week. If they decide, okay, we want to cut half of the minor league teams again. They already did half of the minor league teams 2 years ago, and they're going to do it again. They already cut the draft process down just to pay guys more, you know, like you see the trends happening. What more do you think is going to happen before you guys get that $50,000 a year? You know, or even $35,000 a year, or whatever it may be. Like, and that's the trends you see is owners aren't willing to pay players. I mean, there's exceptions. You know, Cohen, for example.
My boy, Uncle Stevie.
He is.
Uncle Steve, man.
There's a reason why a lot of owners don't like that guy, because that guy's willing to do to baseball what the other owners don't want to do. You know, and that's the great part is that he wants to make baseball better. You know, from the top to the bottom, he wants to make it better.
From speaking to Steve, is the general consensus? I'm assuming he's a likable guy among the players because he pays them. Is that a fact? Is he like?
I mean, he's around more than I guess. I haven't been a part of many organizations to see a lot of owners, but I've definitely seen him around more than I have other organizations.
That makes you feel better.
Yeah, yes, I mean, that's super interesting to me too, because like we're both Mets fans, and like most fans don't like what Steve Cohen's doing because he's just buying players and buying all the stars. That's so
the Yankees did for how long? You know?
Exactly.
Thank you. I was about to say
did for how long?
I'm a Mets fan in Jersey, so me growing up, I was almost bullied for being a Mets fan because that was the years that we were bad. Like my season was over in May, like it was bad.
The late '90s, early 2000s of the Yankees buying players and buying all their talent.
And then now I was a camp counselor years ago, and all these kids think it's cool to be a Mets fan. I'm like, no. You got to earn your stripes, kid. You got to
bandwagon.
You got to go through the process. And speaking on more of the gambling sports side of it, obviously sports betting's become legal in most states now. When you were playing, has anyone ever like DM'd you or gave you kind of hate messaging for losing them a bet?
100%. It was one sticks out to me the best. It was my rookie year, played the Dodgers, and someone messaged me right after the game. I mean, it wasn't a bad game. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was
the Dodgers.
It was the Dodgers. I think it was four innings, 4 runs. Granted, not a quality start, but I think it was like my 8th start in the big leagues.
Yeah.
And I get a message after saying like, slurs after slurs, like you lost me money, like I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna kill you, this and that. I'm like, so I messaged back and I'm like, look, it ain't my fault that you bet on a rookie against the hottest team in baseball. Like that's not my fault. That's your own problem for thinking that was a good thing. You know, like, I'm just saying. I'm just being truthful here. That it's your problem, not mine.
That's true. Like he could have also bet the Dodgers. He wasn't forced.
I mean,
He
he
could have
probably
took
wouldn't
the other
have
hat.
made that much money, but it's one of those things that you don't come after me for your gambling habits.
So one thing I'm interested in, do players, like, I know obviously you guys aren't worried about, oh, we're projected to win this game, or oh, the strikeout prop is this, but do you guys have like an idea of like, oh, Vegas has me at 6.5 strikeouts today? Like, do players ever? No one kicks into that.
No, because baseball is a very funny game. You know, when you try to chase stats, when you try to chase all these different things that, I guess, for example, betting, you try to chase that, you will never reach it. You will never get to it, you know, because your mind is thinking about stuff that it's not reality yet. So now if it happens, it happens. You know, there are those people out there that they'll go out there and they'll most likely give you 10 strikeouts. It is what it is. But 95% of players aren't like that, aren't built like that, and they'll never be like that, you know? So it's there are those guys who do that, but at the same time, like, guys don't really pay attention, because at the end of the day, one of the best quotes we heard in the locker room today was from Miggy Rowe. I mean, from like during spring training, was from Miggy Rowe, and it was, better be happy before the game, because you never know how you're gonna feel after the game.
Yeah,
you know, because
awesome.
like, and that's the reality of it, is that you can be, if you're pissed off before the game, you may be pissed off after the game. You know, so might as well be happy now, because you never know the outcome, and you never know how you're gonna feel after the game.
Yeah.
You know, so it's one of those things that no one really cares about the betting. No one really cares about what Vegas has us at or whatnot. It's kind of like, we got to go out there and perform, because if we don't perform, we're out of a job.
I just feel bad because like the hate mail or messaging is crazy to me, because it's like that same guy is probably like an accountant, and like it's like, imagine if I bet on him to like do his job to the highest ability on a random Monday in like September, and like just call him a bunch of names for not doing it. Like,
just stand at his desk and yell at him. You know, at his cubicle, and just slurs at him left and right. You know, it happens. You know, like, for example, in 21, the Mets, I had a game against the Marlins. You know, 2 earned runs over 4 innings, which isn't a bad day. I mean, granted, it was a 5-run day, but 3 of them were unearned.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm getting hate messages. My wife is getting it, you know, and it's
That's
just like,
bad.
it's like there's a line that you cannot cross. Yeah. Players can take it. Players signed up for this. Like, we understand that this is a part of what we signed up for.
But you still don't deserve it.
Yeah, but we understand it. You know, as much as we don't think we deserve it, we understand it. We're able to take it. We're able to understand that it's taken with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, their opinions don't matter. You know,
well, when you guys are still getting paid. Like, you know what I mean?
But when you go after my family, it's a different story. You know, like, don't go after my family. If you have something to say it to me. Because
is there ever like a fear of like, you almost don't even want your wife to, I guess now it's different that you're not playing, but when you were playing, you almost don't even want her to, like, to post her on your social media, because you don't even want to give them like an outlet?
Nah. I mean, if I'm gonna let people run my life, then I'm never gonna live. You know, like that's how I feel. Social media was designed to be a good tool, but it turned into a cesspool of guys who are at home sitting in their basement and talking crap about players, or talking crap about people that they wish that they were doing that. You know?
Exactly.
That's the reality of, you know, like, the true baseball fans, the true fans are always there to support good and bad days. It's that 1% or less than 1% of Twitter bots that think that they have all the power because they have 2 followers, and they just post they post a comment on your picture that you posted a year ago. You know, it's like, dude,
and their name is like JRQF51276. Like,
they got like an anime profile picture.
It's like get a life, you know, like 100%. I don't know. I just think that social media has turned into that, where there's no repercussions for your actions on social media.
Yeah. You
can hide your identity. You can act like this big time guy on there, and in reality, it's like you're nothing near that, you know? So it's one of those things that social media has turned into that, and that's why my daughter will not have social media for a very long time.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Oh,
that's going to be tough.
Hard, but it's going to happen, because it creates false stigmas about yourself, because, say, for women, like, they see people on social media, or other women on social media, and they try to be like them, you know, and now
it's all filtered.
yeah, now their self-confidence is shot, and now they don't
Yeah.
believe in themselves because they're not doing things that other people on social media are doing, and I don't believe in that. I believe that you're going to be the best human you can be, and that's all you can control. If you try to be like someone else, it'll never happen. I was at church the other day, and that was kind of the message was, God made you and only you, and no one like you. So if you try to be someone else, you're only gonna become more like irritated and frustrated because you're not coming like that. You're not becoming that person. When in reality,
You aren't that
God
person.
gave you your own skills and your own identity. So be yourself.
Yeah, that's a great message. Do you think are you gonna be that dad that like pushes the softball on your daughter, or like
No, golf.
golf?
Next
I
for
like
Shelby.
that. I like that. It is nice down there. You could golf all year round. So.
Exactly. It's going to give me an excuse to get away for a weekend and play 36.
Wow.
See you
You're
later,
just
babe.
smart guy.
Bye.
You're thinking ahead.
Yeah, just see you later. We're going to go play golf. So
I love that. Austin, you have any questions for Jordan? We've taken up a lot of his time, and his daughter is taking a nap. Anything you want to ask him?
Honestly, I think we got most of it. I just want to say thank you for coming on, man. It's been awesome, and it was great listening to you.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Listen, we're going to have you on again mid-season to talk about the rules again, so don't go anywhere. Best of luck with everything you're doing. All the best wishes to your whole family. Jersey wife, can't beat it. Your daughter, hopefully I see her in the LPGA Tour in like 20 years. We'll see.
Hopefully. I would love that. Backup plan.
Backup plan. All right, well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Follow Jordan on social media, on Twitter as well, and follow his journey. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully we can catch up soon.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.